Hey, fellow modelers, welcome back. This is your old friend Steve Areno here with Steve Areno Cool Kits. This time we're going to be taking a departure. We're going to be building the Tamiya P-38G 148. Part 1. Take 1. Boom. All right. So let me get my thinking hat out of the way here for a second. Okay. And let me show off this great box art. This is a kit that I've been wanting to build for a long time. I mean, I've built this plane many times before, but this kit right here, well, you know, what can I say? The engineering, the molding, the you name it, the everything is what we always wanted in our kits when we built them before in this scale. And I mean, isn't 148 the queen of scales in terms of airplanes? I mean, it really is. This just has everything, and there's so much included in the box. I mean, I just can't say enough about this kit. But I've been waiting for this to come out, and I finally was able to pick one up at a price that was just so great that I couldn't pass up on it. So I've already started. There's a lot on this kit, but and I'm not going to repeat stuff that's already been given out there. I've already started diving into this kit. I've already got stuff going, rocking and rolling here. And I'll just sort of talk about what I'm going to do in my kit, my build on this, and also some of the the typical things that I do when I'm building my models. Okay, so let me pause, get this out of the way. Okay, back. Well, with a kit like this, and with so many kits, it's really important to think about specifically how you're going to build, and that emphasis on specific. So this particular kit is the P-38, and it gives you FG options, and there are slight differences here and there. A lot of people on the internet talked about that before. I'm going to be building the P-38G, and specifically I'm going to be building a Pacific Theater version. And that's important because that informs some of the weathering that you would do specific to the Pacific, where the climate was pretty tough on these airplanes. I'm gonna do a little weathering of the interior using some chipping solution, and before I put on the interior green. And since you're going to be exposing something, what are you exposing has to be answered, and that's a bare metal or bare aluminum that has to go on first, right? You just have to paint backwards on a lot of this stuff. So then I'm going to weather on the inside of the wheel wells, and again, that was bare aluminum in there, research shows, and so I got to go over the top of the bare aluminum with a bunch of different airbrush applied washes, again specific to the kind of mud and muck and dirt and such that would have been in the Pacific Theater. A lot of paint rash that would get kicked up because of the coral and the stuff that the CBs were putting down on the airfields. So the decaling I'm going to use is not the kit supplied decaling, which is great decaling, but I'm going to use some specific ones for a particular aircraft I want to replicate that comes from Kit's World decals. And then there's a possible way that you can do this to make the rivets stand out even more, and it's a decal type rivet made by HGW Rivets, and you got to lay down Mr. Surface's black before you put that on. So I'm going to be using that stuff. And well, for completeness, here's my chipping solution here. So I got that, and then weather wear patterns on the top surface where people would have walked around. I always build my aircraft and paint up the pilot figures and get super detailed on that. So I'm going to go ahead and put the ladder, which is pretty cool on the P-38. You don't see that a lot when people do build P-38, so I'm going to put that in the down position. And the demarcation line between the upper and lower surfaces here, right, between the green, olive green coming down, and the gray on the bottom. I'm going to use the dough technique this time to accomplish that. And then I'm going to get all these aerial lines, like what, here and there, and there, right? I'm gonna get all of those radio aerial lines laid in, because again, that's something you don't see a lot of people do on their kits. So I'm gonna do it on my build, just because I get those ideas and I'm not happy till I accomplish them. Okay, so let's pause again. Okay, back now. Since I'm building the G, and one of the guys out there who did a great video on his build, which was the other one, but mine's going to be the G, and again, this kit is a FG. So what I had to do is I had to go through and cross out and circle that which I do want to put in. So I'm going to be building the G, which is this one, and a little couple things that would make adjustment, crossed out the one I'm not going to do, and I circled the one I am going to do. And there's another place that's comes up, has to do with I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Over here, there's a little piece that goes on the nose cone that's particular to the G. And then the drop tanks, because they had to fly a little further from the base, was where this particular G was located. It's got the bigger drop tank on one side. The other version has two the same size. And then down here, a little extra work, because I'm going to be putting in the piece that has the indicator lights on the bottom, and those have to be painted up with clear paints. So that's in the version I'm going to be building back here. And then on the turbocharger, that is different on the version I'm building. So I'm crossing out the one I'm not going to do down here. Okay, and then where else is there some difference? I think maybe. Oh, yeah, I know where there's another difference. It's in the canopy arrangement over here. The canopy arrangement which I think is pretty cool on the version I'm building. It's where the top piece hinges back. So on the other version, it hinges to the side, and they give you a piece for that. But I'm not doing that version. I'm doing the version where the top of the canopy hinges back. Okay, so we'll see that later on in the build. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like this right here. That's the version I'm building right there. That one, like that right there. Okay. Great. I'll come back just a second. Okay, so sort of like step 0 and step 1, at least on some of these pieces. I'm waving them around so you guys can see. But after priming these things, where it's going to be the bare aluminum, I went ahead and hit them and with the bare aluminum finish. Okay, and then this is like step 0 and 1 towards now going over them with airbrush applied washes in those different earth colors. And of course you have to do that before you build it up. So these happen to be interior gear doors and sides of main landing gear wheel wells. There are you have to kind of study the instructions several times. And here's the front interior. Again, I'm waving it around so you can see the front interior gear door, and then the front and the back bulkheads for the main gear here, and then there's a lot of pieces for the cockpit. So. Which is pretty cool. I mean, I never really understood this before, but the wheel hump right there, from the nose landing gear, right? That's going to come through the floor of the pilot's seat, right? Which is actually, let me turn around this way, the correct orientation, that way. And then these are the two sides of what will be connecting in here for the nose gear landing gear bay. So I've got that ready to go with the bare aluminum, and then over the top of that will go the chipping solution, and over the top will go the interior green. Then we'll come back and we'll chip that off. And then the main landing gear bare aluminum that's this, right? And the sides that I showed earlier will go along each side of this. There's some other piping and pieces that go in there. You know, doodads, I call them, that go in there. They probably have specific names. And then the same thing for the pilot seat. We'll get chipping solution on that. We'll go over interior green, and we'll come back and we'll scratch it off here and there to make it look like it's worn. We used to have to go through so much to get that kind of detail into our kits, and it comes all in one box from Tamiya on this one. Just incredible. Just incredible. You know, just fantastic. I mean, look at that. It's just fantastic. So, looking forward to, you know, continuing on building this one and having a great time with this build. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.